Hello and welcome to Face to Face on City TV. I am Umaru Sanda Amado. We continue to discuss the issue of national development. What have we done so far 64 years on? What are we going to do? We are marching towards 100 years. A few weeks ago, you heard from someone who was in charge of national development and planning. Today, we're going to hear from someone who is. So the difference is that we spoke to the was and now we speak to the is. When we come back, I'll tell you my guest. Dr. Kodjo Esseim Mensah-Abrampa is a development economist and he's the Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, NDPC. Doc, you're welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
I'm hearing of a new bank called National Development Bank. Development Bank of Ghana.
Ghana, yeah.
You have any hand in it? Do you know anything about it as an NDPC?
Well, definitely this has been there as part of our development plan. And in the medium-term development plan, it's specific. Okay. It's there to support, particularly providing avenue for accessing resources for both particularly the private sector, so that they can engage in the development of infrastructure, industries. This is a very, very big problem. A lot of contractors are giving contract and then they find it difficult securing resources. So this is a huge opportunity for us. Industrial development is very, very keen if you want to engage in maybe long-term investment. Mm-hmm. This is a big opportunity.
So this was a proposal from NDPC?
It's been there in the plan,
okay,
in the development plan, the medium-term plan. And if you look at the government's own coordinated program, it's specified in the financial sector. It's one of the means to, and it is there, to revamp the economy.
So the idea of a national bank, yeah, National Development Bank,
yes,
how different would that be from Ghana Commercial Bank, which is state-owned, and Agri Development Bank, and National Investment Bank? How different would your plan be?
The names already tells you what the difference is. Agric, the focus is on agriculture. The commercial bank is a universal bank which provides avenues for all the businesses ranging from private to public sector. Mm-hmm. When it comes to development bank can even lend resources to another bank. Okay, so there could be other banks that are involved in development activities and financing, and that bank you can take a loan facility there to be able to support the various levels of development activity. So that is the difference. It can finance other banks, and it provides a single avenue for which it can also attract investors who can also invest in these banks and through that directly to affect other development activities in the country.
The Development Bank Ghana, that's what it's going to be called.
Yeah.
It's starting off already on what can be described as a faulty premise by mm-hmm. critics and analysts that mm-hmm. you're going to take a loan to set up a bank to secure Ghana's future. Mm-hmm. How does that make sense? That you're planning on a loan? How do you do that?
There's nothing wrong with that. Many of these banks are set out on the same premises. I mean, money doesn't fall from anywhere. Money means that it's coming from a source. Okay? And one of the major sources for setting up a lot of these banks is taking credit from a certain source so that you can begin to also trade. Okay? And then use that as a means to satisfy that. The key thing is that because you are taking it over a range of a period and also in certain volumes, the interest rate is relatively down. And if you're able to optimize your business acumen and to reduce cost, you should be able to make a lot of gains from it. So it's normal. It's not unusual at all. It's not a bad premise.
Except that we are almost loaning ourselves our future away. By 100 years, or by the time Ghana attains 100, when you are thinking of all these lofty ideas, you should also be thinking that we'll be having a hump or a hunch, which is the huge debt that we are engulfed in. That is a problem. That would not augur well for the plan you're putting in place.
You see, the whole thing is that taking a loan to undertake a business is one of the means also to propel local productivity.
This government said it was a lazy approach, taking loans all the time, and that the president said it is Sikaso. So why do we have to go?
Sometimes you take this loan to serve as a trigger. There are a lot of latent opportunities in this country, latent in industrial activities, in agricultural activities, and if you ask all of them, the problem is resources, which means that if you mobilize local resources, you may be able to make maybe a productivity and then a level of 5 If you're able to take a loan, you can jump to 15. And then your activities are expanded. Okay? Opportunities are expanded. Opportunities are tripled, more or less. And then out of that, you can easily pay the loan back whilst you also generate and continue to generate local resources. So it's a trigger. Very often it's a trigger. There is so much history to that. If you go to current Germany, where did they grow from? The Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan is more or less a credit. But today, do you hear these huge loans hanging on the neck of Germany? No, because they use that to trigger local production system. And you can go on and name so many countries in our own, Rwanda. It started on the same premises after the war. They got a lot of, resources from outside, and they use it to generate the local processes. So this is normal with many countries. The key thing is that utilizing these resources to be able to trigger these local opportunities to be able to pay back, and whilst you move on with your development process.
I'll ask you about the utilization and what role you play in that, but often what people do when they hear of loans or debts, the country's debt, is to divide the debt by 30 million Ghanaians and say that even a day-old born baby or a yet-to-be-born baby is indebted. That is not good.
You see, this is something we hear, but it depends on what you have invested in. The ability to pay back. It's not bad. People take a loan to put up a house, but what they use the house for, is able to pay back. If you use it for just yourself as a resident, then it means that you have to be working somewhere to pay. But if you provide the building facility and you use it for economic activities, then it pays back for itself. So the utilization is very important. Utilization also depends on what you are planning to use it for. We have so many plans, so many things that we want to start. But the challenge has been with where to put it, where to get the resources to be able to do that. And when we go through the phases of our development, economy, social issues related to infrastructure, and you need this infrastructure to be able to take you to that level. You need that high productivity and investment to take you to that level. If you don't have it today, you need to find a means to get it so that you can make use of these huge potential which exist in this country. And I'm sure in our discussion, I'll bring about some of these huge potentials which are still latent and not being useful.
Indeed. We'll talk about those ones, but let's talk about development and planning and the government. Yeah. We had a minister of state in charge of planning in the last Akufo-Addo government. Yeah. We have not seen a repeat of that portfolio in this new government. Yeah. You were working with Professor Jambafor. Yeah. What happened? Did he become so needless? I was going to use the word useless, but I've withdrawn that. Has he become so needless? I.e., has planning become so needless for the Akufo-Addo government that he was sent away and the ministry was scrapped?
Let me say that each ministry was set up for a particular function, and he saw the role of the Ministry of Planning. You see, we have a constitutional mandate. Every president, as soon as you are elected, you have to develop what we call the coordinated program for economic and social development policies. It's right in our Constitution, 36(5). What we have seen with the previous government was that this coordinated program often is produced 2 years, in their term in office. When you do that, it means you are delaying the whole planning process. You virtually come out with the coordinated program after 2 years. Then the medium-term development planning starts. So you use the whole term virtually planning and doing nothing. What happened was that with this one, as soon as the government was set up, the Ministry of Planning was established to take care of this particular function, very important function. So you realize that the record time of by June, this coordinated program had been produced. So the first 6 months done instead of 2 years. And then the first 6 months done, which means that out of that, a medium-term plan could be developed and influence the budget of the following year. This was unique. It has never happened since in the Fourth Republic. So Ministry of Plan facilitated the preparation, facilitated the dissemination, and then facilitated the linkage between the coordinated program and the medium-term development plan. So whilst NDPC was preparing the medium-term development plan, the coordinated program was ready. This is first in its kind. It's never happened. Not with Vision 2020, not with the Ghana poverty reduction strategies, not with the transformation agenda, not with the Better Ghana agenda. This is the first time. So the agenda for jobs was created in the very first year of the president, and this was facilitated by Ministry of Planning.
So at what point did the ministry become useless?
It's not useless.
It's no more there.
It's in the mind of the president that these functions, subsequent funds, because the coordinated program has been done, the dissemination has been done, the ministry have facilitated and set up the process. The next following that, this could be taken up by National Development Planning Commission and Ministry of Planning.
So the ministry can go to rest?
The ministry has already gone to rest.
That's what I'm saying. So, you see, the reason I'm asking these questions, and forgive me, is that ministries are policy institutions. They're supposed to drive policy.
Yes.
Professor Abrampa was there.
Yeah.
He was a minister. He was supposed to drive policy.
Exactly.
Your predecessor, Nimoy Thompson, has described that ministry itself as a superfluous institution because he believes that these things you just outlined to me are the things that NDPC is supposed to be doing. The office here that we sit at is supposed to have handled the thing that you have gone to create a whole bureaucracy to handle when we already have one.
It's not a whole bureaucracy to handle. You should know the number of people who are working at Ministry of Planning.
How many?
And the necessary 14.
14 human beings?
4, yes.
Including bodyguards, drivers, secretaries, PAs,
well, put all that together, it comes nowhere near what we have spent in developing this coordinated program. Because the coordinated program was formally being developed by consultants. And if you look at the resources spent in that and the resources spent by creating the ministry and facilitating this process, you see the difference.
Help me understand this before you continue.
Yes.
Nimoy Thompson has said it was not supposed to be a physical ministry. Your former boss decided to make it a physical ministry. He was supposed to be a minister of state and the presidency in charge of planning.
No,
he then became minister.
That wasn't it.
So explain.
That wasn't it.
Clarify.
He was appointed a minister for planning.
Minister for Planning, not Minister of State.
No.
He was not one of the 6 ministers of state.
No, he was a Minister of Planning with a ministry.
So he was supposed to have a physical ministry with a building and all of that.
Exactly.
So where were you operating from?
At the castle.
Oh, so you're one of the 3 ministries at the castle? 4.
Yes.
Okay, I see. So you had castle, you were using electricity, you were using water, you had 14 people, you were buying petrol, V8s, all of that. If you had sent that money to NDPC,
well
NDPC
V8
would have...
for who? I never had a car from Ministry of Planning, and I was the key technical person there.
You never had a car?
No.
Okay, but there were air-conditioned offices. Those offices could have been used for
put
other...
all that together, ask yourself, this was just opposed against what used to be the case.
You had a budget.
What used to be the case was a number of consultants put together for a whole period of 2 years to prepare this document. Okay, so look at the cost.
But NDPC could have done these things that the ministry did.
NDPC
That's a question to you.
had been there since 1994.
Exactly.
But NDPC had always subletted this to consultants to do.
So the ministry is almost like a consultant for the NDPC?
No, it's a ministry, and it had within additional fact that this is within government. It's a process.
Convince me, I'm not...
They started with, you see, within 6 months, what was supposed to be done in 2 years was accomplished in 6 months. By the ministry. But in addition to that, the defect of this was the dissemination. Often this had been done and then coordinated program done, and that is all. Becomes a technical document. There's been a period for dissemination, sharing these aspirations with the people, bringing it out that this is the vision that the president wants to attain. This is the vision not only for a president, but for the government, for the people of Ghana. This is it.
So you help with the new government.
Yes.
Why is it that in this new government, we don't have the ministry to do this same thing? So who is doing the consultancy work
because
for NDPC now?
The coordinated program, you see, in our wisdom, is for 8 years.
Okay. So what you did 2 years ago or 3 years ago,
it's still working.
You created it for 8 years.
Exactly.
Even though there's a possibility Akufo-Addo would have lost 2020 and then...
Of course.
And that would have been wastage.
No, it's not wastage.
Chances are that the NDC may not have taken it.
That's what planning is. You plan in such a way that it can be rolled when there's an opportunity.
But you know we don't do that in this country. We are not very good with it.
We do it.
Your predecessor said that the Kwame Nkrumah 7-year development agenda was thrown into the dustbin as soon as he left. We know Rawlings' Vision 2020. It's 2020 now. I mean 2021 now. I never saw Rawlings' Vision 2020 being implemented beyond Kufuor government So explain to us how you believe that this would have been sustained.
Anybody who makes that argument doesn't understand planning.
Okay, explain.
Okay, planning has what we call a long-term perspective. A long-term perspective is indicative planning with key assumptions. And the assumptions are reviewed as you move on. Sometimes it comes to a point that the plan itself becomes redundant due to the emerging situations. Okay.
Which makes it a useless plan.
Not useless.
If a plan becomes redundant,
you can, because something. If for instance,
unexpected.
If for instance, you have a constitutional government, there's a coup d'etat.
Yes.
It tumbles the whole plan.
That's true.
That's it. So whenever you have opportunity to start again, you can't go back for that plan because the scenario has changed, and that is fundamental.
Okay.
So the 7-year plan of Nkrumah, there were two of them. One was largely implemented, the 51 one. And then it was a problem when the 63 one definitely, it came with a coup d'etat. And therefore, they had a reason for putting it aside. You wouldn't expect that when we had the Second Republic, they would just go for it. No, it has to come through a review. It had a concentration, a different direction.
But how about Vision 2020? There was not a coup d'etat.
Vision 2020, you see, if you look at Vision 2020, I think I have a copy there. Vision 2020 are broad perspectives, facilitating rural development, facilitating agriculture, facilitating equitable provision of social facilities, and then facilitating the development and nurturing of industrial development. These things are broad perspectives, okay, which indicate the direction the country wants to go. So Vision 2020 ought to go with medium-term development plans, which takes up these perspectives to implement. Anybody who says that you are implementing a long-term plan might not have that full knowledge of what planning is. Because a long-term plan is an indicative perspective, indicating what we aspire to attain in the future and the steps that we would like to take in order to do that. These steps ought to be detailed by medium-term analysis. That you are reducing the range of what we call assumptions, not holding. Because if you plan over 40 years and you want to go letter by letter, you can only do that if you're a magician.
Okay.
But you cannot. So 40 years, you reduce it to a certain range in the medium term. So you can reduce it to 8 years, which gives you a far better perspective. And then in Ghana, we are injuncted by our constitution to bring it to 4 years. 4 years is more visible. And you have less assumptions because it can't be determined unless there's an abrupt, unanticipated situation. You can work within 4 years, and then that becomes cogent, and that is what you take to Parliament, approve, and becomes binding.
So Vision 2020 was not thrown away completely.
No, because the aspirations
it was as a guiding.
It was a guide. It is still an aspiration. Even to today, anybody who says rural development doesn't matter is a liar. Anybody who says poverty reduction doesn't matter is a liar. Anybody who says that sustainable development of our local industry doesn't matter is a liar.
What were the key things in 2020, Vision 2020, that you would say we really attained?
Equitable access to social facilities.
Really?
Because before that, it was a big challenge. Rural development was a serious challenge. A lot of. I have experienced as a rural boy, and this has been taken through. At the time Vision 2020 was developed, in my hometown, there was no water facility. There was no electricity. The only school there was a primary school. And definitely the road leading to the market was such a terrible situation that we had to walk always the 7 kilometers. Today, it's a different village. We have a chip compound with a maternal facility. We have water facility from small water facility managed by community water. We also have very good education facility, a primary school, a junior high school, and even a skill development center has been built, which is going to be commissioned this year. We also have the road. Now there's a contractor working on it, and this has been something that my grandfather wished for but never saw, and he died. My father wished for, never saw, and died. In our time, this 7-kilometer road is under construction. So these are some of the things.
What village is this?
And it's in central Jokwa Krobo.
Okay.
And there are many villages. I'm just using that as an example, but there are many villages that have gone through transformation. I've traveled almost throughout the country. I know the nooks and crooks of this country, and you could always see a difference whenever you visited a community, which means that aspiration of our people that we saw some 30 years ago is still working, but in a different form.
Okay.
And that is what planning is.
So governments are supposed to take planning seriously.
Yes.
So we would say that the president took planning very seriously when he created a ministry or minister for it. And this minister could go to cabinet if need be. Now we don't have one. Do you get invited to cabinet as the Director General of NDPC?
No.
Which ministry are you under now?
Minister for Finance represents the National Development Planning Commission.
Okay. But do you not think that if you had a Minister for Planning going for cabinet, then it means that there's a government that is interested in knowing what our plans is, and maybe weekly or monthly we could be getting a brief to cabinet, so we have an idea whether we are meeting these goals?
You see, all these mechanisms are there. The Commission's primary role is advisory. And to who? To the President. So if you look at what's the Constitution, the 86, and the first function is that we advise the President. Mm-hmm. So advisory role to the President comes in so many forms. We have a direct interface with the President. It's also in the Constitution at least 6 months. The full Commission will have to meet the President at least every 6 months. Beyond that, we have the opportunity to write what we call policy briefs. The policy briefs are very important instruments which gets to the desk of the President, indicating to the President these are areas that you ought to look at. These are the alternatives for you and the team to make selection. And this is what the National Development Planning Commission does. Sometimes it goes to the economic management team where it is needed. And these are the things that we do over here. So there are so many avenues without physically being the influencing situation.
Do you think if you were an authority, you would be biting more than you currently are as a commission?
These are terms.
Okay.
Whether commission or authority, your constitutional mandate. It's among the few commissions which are in the Constitution. And 86, Article 86 and 87 in our own Constitution talks about the National Development Planning Commission, how important it is. And it's with very few of them. Very few. There are 5 other commissions that are in the Constitution.
How about funding? Do you get the necessary funding, or you are a Siberia commission?
No,
like
not
the
at
NCCE?
all. Not at all. We used to
National
be,
Commission
we
for
used
Civic
to be
Education
in the
always
past.
crying.
We used to be in the past. Let
Okay.
me say that. We used to be in the past. It was quite difficult getting things moving here and there. But since I came here, the last commission that I worked with, and they went vigorously for mobilization. And the chairman of the commission there, Professor Dare, that was one of his objectives, to make sure that the commission is well resourced so that we can deliver. In fact, our budget doubled during the period. Doubled.
Which year was this be?
And that's from 2018, 2019, 2020.
So you're financially, you're okay?
We're good. And then one of the things that we've been able to do is also the support from our development partners. Although they don't give the money directly to us, in many of our activities they provided the support, which has been good. And it's increased. Let me say that I came from that background. So there is
so you know how their system works.
Yes.
I see. Thank you very much. This is Face to Face on City TV. My guest is the Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, Mr. Mensah-Abrampa. Doctor, forgive me, I removed his PhD from his name. We are discussing generally the government's own plans and why it had a ministry for planning and why that ministry is no more, and why he thinks that they are fine the way they are and proceed in the things they are doing. But one thing, though, is that he has mentioned to us that Vision 2020 was not thrown away, put under the carpet, or just left on the shelves. It was used largely, and he says there's evidence to show that Vision 2020 has worked. However, the 40-year development plan, Nimoy Thompson, the man who was occupying this office, says a copy is in his house. The other copies, they're just sitting on a shelf somewhere. We're going to look around this office today, find the copies of the 40-year development plan, and ask why they are not being utilized. Stay with us.
This is Fact Finder from the BBC.
We live in a world where news travels fast, and sometimes it's hard to differentiate fact from fiction. Fact Finder brings fact-checking from the newsroom up close so you can separate truth from chaff. Be empowered to tell what's fake from what's real. Watch Fact Finder by the BBC on City TV every Wednesday at 6 p.m. City TV. It's your world.
You're welcome back to Face on City TV. I am Omar Mensah-Abrampa. My guest is the Director General DG of the National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, Dr. Kodjo Mensah-Abrampa. Nimo Esseim was the Director General of NDPC.
Yes.
He spoke to me on Face a few weeks ago, and he said that all the plans that were documented are not being utilized. Why?
This is very interesting and sad to hear this. Very, very sad to hear this. Because every single plan that has gone through this facility and these technical people have put their minds to it is highly being utilized. Every single one of them. You see, the long-term plan, this is a copy of it.
Mm-hmm. When you say the long-term plan, this is a 40-year development
This is what
plan.
Nimo Esseim showed to you.
Okay.
I saw it on the TV. This is a 40-year plan. It's equally, I said earlier on, a long-term perspective plan. Whoever says that you take this and go and implement doesn't know the rudiments of planning. The rudiments of planning indicates that the long-term plan is based upon certain assumptions. But these are the aspirations, based upon projections. The projections are based upon assumptions. Assuming that something is going to happen 40 years, it's quite a long time. But it embodies the aspirations. Before the preparation of this, they went around the community, the country, sponsored by donors and other people who have interest in our development, and came out with this important document, which shows what we want to do and what the Ghana we want to see at the time we should be 100 years. And this is the 40-year range we have prepared. But it doesn't implement itself because you need to break it down to specific terms and periods which are easily perceptible, and you reduce the assumptions so that you can monitor and plan. So we have what we call the logic of planning. The logic of planning means that the long-term plan, and this was presented to the president when he assumed office, he took it, and what he said was that I am going to give it to my cabinet and the technical people to review, okay, and then bring it to the situation where we can implement. This was what the president told Professor Kwesi Botwe at that time. And so we did not put it anywhere. It is still active and it's still lying on our desk, and we're still using it as the basis of that. Right from that, you see, when you have a long-term perspective plan, the next thing you do is an interface. Planning is a political, technical interface. This is a technical document. The technical document must interface, okay, with the political aspirations, because the leadership which went round the same country and galvanized the people to vote for them also had with them a certain conviction, a certain perspective for our development, a certain aspiration, and more so a certain experience, having gone around the country and having won the votes of the people. Because what they sold to the people is the reason why the people voted for them. So there's a need to bring the technical document to interface with the political document. Okay? And when you do that, we develop what we call a matrix, a policy matrix. So what are the points of meeting? What are the points of departure? So we do what we call compatibility matrix. Are the things here still compatible? Are the assumptions still holding? Is this something that we can move on with it? And then you help to prioritize, to come out with a new agenda which brings you within the assumption range. So from this document and all the aspirations that I've talked about, we have what we call a document which expresses clearly what we want to do in the future. And this is mandatory. Okay?
The
this
Coordinated Program of Economic and Social Development Policies 2017 to 2024.
Yes.
So this is the 8-year program you talked about.
So the government, having assumed power, looked at this. We looked at this document.
An agenda for jobs. That's
yes.
the MPP manifesto's title.
Agenda for jobs is the pursuit of what we want to do.
I know. I'm just saying that was the motto
exactly,
of the NPP manifesto for
yes.
2016. So this is politically. So you've given
harnessed,
that, yeah.
And it's been such a way that it's now something which is accepted by the government and represents the government and the people of Ghana. So the plan has now interfaced. The technical plan has interfaced, and there's what we call the political technical dialogue. So this is it.
But I thought you said that you reduce these plans to 4 years. You've mentioned some. So why is this 8 years?
I'm coming. I haven't finished the logic.
Okay.
So this is the first 8 years. So if you look at this, it represents what the government wants to do during the period. It doesn't have the technical, specific, what ministries are supposed to do, what sectors are supposed to do. This is the general aspiration. So if you look at the 4-year plan, what was the objective? First, to create what we call a prosperous country through 4 major areas: improving the economy, improving the social system, improving the infrastructure, and then governance. These are the 3. If you look at the coordinated program, it mimics. So within the 8 period, what are we going to do? We're going to transform and modernize agriculture. We want to enhance and transform the industrial sector. We want to improve socio-economic infrastructure. We want to build and reflect a good governance, okay, and improve the public administration.
So where's that 4-year plan that you're talking about?
I'm coming. After this, then you come to put it into the 4 years. Okay?
So you teased 8 out of 40.
40. And now this is the 4.
So this 4 out of 8.
Yes.
So this medium-term national development policy framework, an agenda for jobs, creating prosperity and equal opportunity for all, 2018 to 2021.
Wonderful.
It expires this year. Okay, issued in 2017.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So this is the 4-year document, which now specifies what every ministry is supposed to do, what every district is supposed to work
in 4 years?
Yes.
Please, let's look at what because 2021 is here with us.
Yes.
I want to know what my district was supposed to do and
whether
they did. Shai Osudoku, Greater
Shai Osudoku, okay.
Yes.
So we'll have, let me tell you, when you do this, then you send this document indicating all that we want to do to the district. So you don't dictate for the district, but the district has this framework. Out of that, the district develop their own specific plan, what they call Shai Osudoku Medium-Term Development Plan at the same time.
Plenty of documents.
No, it's not plenty. That's the logic of planning. If you don't do that, this whole agenda, you can throw the long term away.
So we spend all this time writing papers and reducing
It's
them.
not papers. It is what I call the dialogue.
Okay.
Because somebody is down at the village. The person has an aspiration. This aspiration must reflect in the national plan so that it can be implemented. Okay?
So this is not district specific, it's general.
No, it's general, but includes what we expect from every district.
So for instance, I want to know something that I can check by 2021 whether it's been done or not.
Okay. Let me show you.
This 4 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. This is the 2019 report. Okay. So you can go to Shai Osudoku. One of the major things we expected from the district was to enhance their revenue mobilization so that they can support these projects.
Okay.
So I have here, for instance, this is Shai Osudoku.
Would you ever find it? That's Greater Accra region.
I'll find it.
Okay.
This is.
While you are working on that, I have picked this, and what jumps at me is something that excites me most: transportation, road, rail, air, and water.
Exactly.
Now, this page 96, it says, improve efficiency and effectiveness of road transport infrastructure and services, ensure safety and security for all categories of road users, increase capacity and efficiency in port operations, enhance the contribution of inland waterways to safe and efficient transportation of goods, make Ghana the preferred aviation hub for the West African sub-region, modernize and expand the railway network, ensure effective and efficient flow of goods, services, and related information. All of these things, I don't see them apart from the expansion of the railway network.
No,
nothing.
It's happening.
It hasn't happened.
Let me tell you the number of roads. Let me tell you the number of roads that we have. The number of roads, specific.
Okay, we'll get that. But if you look at the so expanding the digital landscape, that the Vice President is leading that particular agenda, science, technology, innovation, energy and petroleum. We are in Dumso.
No, why are we in Dumso?
Because we failed to plan.
No, because the transformation was a problem. We have the energy we have generated. It has to be transformed. There's a problem with the transformation system. Whatever it is, it has to go off before you can fix it. It's not something which is specific to Ghana. If you want to change the transformation system, the wires and all those things which takes the energy to the source, it has to go off before you can do it. All that you need to do is to phase it out so that it doesn't hit us economically. And that's exactly what is happening.
But you see, as someone who knows how to plan, you would have known that power plants or power distribution lines should have a duration that they get fixed, or this this fixing that we say we are doing now.
Exactly.
Why didn't we in our plan say we should maintain it every 2 years or every 1 year? Why do we have to wait until 2021? Then when there's doom, so then we blame it on
no.
problem.
Whatever it is, you cannot take the wire and put another one there without putting the lights on.
Yeah, but you can do it piecemeal. You can do it bit by bit rather than doing it in bulk.
Even now, it's piecemeal. We're not doing it all over the country to come again. And all these things, if you look at the energy,
how come we never had power off related to this before in our history? I don't remember Doomsaw resulting from fixing of cables. I remember Doomsaw resulting from a dried water dam, as in Asoko Sombo Dam, or financial issues that we had in the John Mahama government.
I have stayed and I lived throughout the mining areas. It's something that happens. Whenever there's a mining activity, they have to upgrade. And in upgrading, they go through the same thing. They built a new transformer station. I saw it in Dunkwa. I saw it in Takwa. I saw it in Bogoso. And all those periods, lights had to go off.
Okay. I'm still looking at your plan.
Yes.
You have talked about, so there's environmental pollution.
Yes.
There's deforestation. There's desertification.
So let me talk about the roads which you spoke about.
I'll be happy because in this year, the first quarter of this year, we recorded more accidents and accident-related deaths than we had from COVID. That's a problem. So if you're talking about safety,
there's a whole process around it. It's not just
but that's a failure. Ensure safety and security for all categories of road users.
You see,
the hazardous condition of Ghana's roadways continue to endanger citizens.
Yes.
Strategies to be implemented to ensure safe road networks will include incorporating pedestrian safety facilities in planning, design, construction, and maintenance of road infrastructure, providing adequate training of motor vehicle operators, significantly improving enforcement of traffic laws and regulations, and all of these things are coming here, and they're supposed to be done. In fact, there's a part that says road signs, markings, traffic calming measures, street lights, and non-motorized facilities. All of these things. Traffic calming measures would include speed ramps. If you're driving in the Volta region, between an area called Dakpa towards Ho, there are mountain-sized road ramps. You haven't fixed them by 2021. You said 4 years.
You see, it's ask yourself what was the total requirement, and what have we done for now? You can travel on the major roads in the country and you realize that a lot of these road humps have been introduced to reduce the road by engineering
but
standards.
They are done by local people and they do it to fit their communities.
Many of them, you see, we see one or two and then we draw a conclusion. Many of them have been done by engineering standards. Travel on the Accra Cape Coast Road all the way to Takoradi. I've seen it within this period, the Cape Coast Takoradi ones. It's all engineered. It has been done. You can travel between Kumasi and Sunyane. A lot of them have been done to reduce it. A lot of these things, if you go up north, many of them, at first you could zoom all the way from Tamale all the way through. But immediately you get to these points, getting to the risky points, Techiman, Kintampo, and all this area, you could see that a lot of these things have been introduced to reduce that. But it's not only that. It comes back to the drivers. It comes back to the drivers. And a lot of the Ghana Transport in terms of associations are doing a lot about it. Instead of zooming all the way through to Kumasi within 3 hours, now they have a way of assessing when you're getting off and when you're getting there. All this is a means which have been done in a softer side, which might not have been seen for now. But we must take note that there are about 800 cars that reach our port and join the system almost every month. And these 800 cars is multiplying, is adding to the number. And therefore, the management of this process, and if you look at the plan, we're looking at how we can enhance through mass transport system. The light rail facility which is being provided is providing.
The SkyTrain has not happened.
It's happening. At least I have the plan here I can show you.
They've
told me my hull is going to be broken. They've gone through a transactional process.
Where?
And in Ghana. They've gone through it. You can go to Ministry of Railway. I have been there.
They'll break your house. Where?
The wall of NDPC will be affected.
Here.
So we've been informed.
So there'll be a SkyTrain passing.
Yes, through here. It comes all the way from Adenta, all the way through Circle, and I hear it enters.
I thought it was in Jogati's head and it has gone with him.
No, the plan is here. And it's still on course.
But it's been announced like 3 years ago, and they said they were going to start.
It's one thing starting, and it goes to negotiation, it goes to technical drawings, and all these things will take into consideration in the plan. And then you bring it out for people to bid, And then finally a bidder is selected.
You know what the
to start
status
with
is
the
now?
process.
I know you may not be the right person to be questioned, but do you know what the status of that
At least,
bidding process
at
is?
least the drawing has been done.
For drawing, anybody can draw.
No, you can't just draw because these are properties.
Oh, the National Cathedral was drawn long ago. Up to now, we have the photo. It has not materialized. So
Well, it takes time to do that. But all of us who will be affected, there's been consultation. I was at the meeting, and so this is the key thing. If they're going to go through and break our walls and others, we have to be informed.
Let me tell you about something that you have drawn in your book, which was drawn in the president's words.
Yes.
Environmental sanitation.
Yeah.
He says he was going to make Accra the cleanest city by the end of his first term. This document is supposed to expire 2021. Yeah. Accra is not clean. It's nowhere near the cleanest city.
There are two things. We have a target set, a process begins. When the target is not attained, even, where have you reached? And what are you going to do beyond? So a plan is a rolling plan. Okay. A plan doesn't end with, end of 2021, Christmas, and no. Okay. It rolls. So whatever we've been able to attain, and I realize that, and it's there in our report, key systems have been put in place for this sanitation. One of the biggest problems was even disposing sites. Now we've gone to, to the extent that these sites, it's not just landfill. We have moved from waste to energy, which is an additional fact, it runs all the way from our long-term plan to the medium-term plan to the coordinated.
So we are on track.
Exactly.
So Professor Nimoy-Thompson's claim that the documents are rotting away, based on what you are saying to me now, may not be true. Yeah. You have teased out of the voluminous document. You are still working with his documents. Definitely. That's correct. But the only difficulty is that he said you went to put your photo and Professor Steve Ade's photo in your book just to be happy with yourselves.
My photo is not in any book.
He said he didn't put his photo.
my photo is not in any book.
But he said Professor Steve Ade's photo is in the book.
This is the document. There's no photo there. What we have done is to, in engaging the public, you cannot take this voluminous book. So we tease out the key things because this is an aspirational document. Okay. Aspirational document means I have to relate to it. Okay. Aspirational document means that when I read it, I must see what is in it.
Can I look at it?
What we have done, yes, I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
What we have done, specific pages. What we have done after developing the summary, okay, and giving it a very, very attractive name, Ghana at 100, which reflects this document because the both of them are ending at 2057. So that's the indication. The other thing is that we wanted it to be owned not only by any, because we saw the political agenda after election was very, very high. Now we bring all the pictures of the president. So
there's President Akufo-Addo at the top.
Yes, that's the president.
John Mahama at the bottom left. Middle left. Yeah. Jonathan Mills at middle right.
So it followed the sequence
John
as they
Kufuor
came
at
in.
middle, bottom right, left, and then Joe Rawlings at. So this Fourth Republic, president of the Fourth Republic. Okay.
And then what we wanted to do was to indicate that it's not owned by just one person. It's owned by the whole country. This is just a picture of the president, which is written is forward.
Yes.
So I'm committed to this long-term process.
Yes.
I'm committed to this Ghana at 100 process, which has been initiated by NDPC.
But you make it political when you do this. Professor, Nimoy-Thompson is not professor. Nimoy-Thompson, forgive me, his title has just escaped me. His point is that, doctor, his point is that the moment you introduced a political person's photo in there, you have defeated the whole plot.
No, that is not true.
Because he said they didn't have Kwesi Botre's photo in there. You have Professor Steve Ade's photo in there. You have the president's photo in there. That's
this is the document.
Don't forget.
Just look at the document.
Don't forget that we have.
You see, this document at the time it was given to the president wasn't even published.
He had no photos.
Yes, so we did not add any photo.
So why do you add a photo?
This is a summary. This is a public document.
In a summary when
this is in fact,
you see
ownership.
Yeah, but you see, you said that you are trying to. If I can have a copy, I'll be grateful. You said that you did this to simplify and sell it to the ordinary Ghanaian.
Yes.
You think selling it to the ordinary Ghanaian in Ketu South, it would excite them seeing that when they open the first page, they see Nana Akufo-Addo's photo, whom they most likely have not voted for in the last election. But you put Muhammad's photo under.
The former president. No, it's not. It's a sequence.
But he will not see like that. The first person that hits him is Akufo-Addo.
Anybody who sees it knows that if there's a sixth president, this will move and this will be here. That's it.
But why did you have to put a photo?
No, it's necessary for ownership.
No.
This will develop. Listen.
But why didn't they have a photo here to own it?
The political situation was that
yes.
a 40-year development plan, and we read through all these things. The 40-year development plan has been produced and developed by, and that was it, the NDC government, and going to hand it over. Immediately you do that. How many times have we been handed these things over?
Exactly.
But they are never utilized.
Yes, yes.
So the president, understanding what planning is, says we all have to own this. If you look here, oh, they did it, and then they dump it. Many of them are here. But to bring it back and take the facts which are in and put in such a way that we can communicate to the world that the current president also buys into these technical documents and is part of it.
You didn't have to put his photo there. You can just, he gave you the power and he said, I am allowing you to work. Just work.
No.
Why do we have to go around?
Because you need the public for a long-term plan. Other than that, when the government is over, it is over.
Yeah,
and
but when the government is over, it can be over because Nimrod Thompson claimed that when this government came, you threw away what was done by the NDC. You are saying to us that now that you didn't do that.
We threw away
what was done by the NDC.
Yeah, so these are the perceptions.
You are saying to me
these
now
are the perceptions.
that you rather teased out something
if
from
we
it.
threw away, we wouldn't have produced this.
So this is a product of the bigger thing that they did.
And every member of parliament has this. Every single member of parliament has this. It's on our website. It doesn't hide. It's on our website. It's a national document. This as well is a national document. It's on our website. Every member of parliament has this summary to look at and say, this is what we are aspiring to attain as a country, whether you belong to that party or this party.
What's the assurance that if you leave this office and the MPP leaves government, this document will still be used? This Ghana.
I did not produce it, to be frank. I did not produce it as a director general.
It was your officer under your tenure.
It was my, so, but you are saying you.
No, I mean,
if you say you
no, because you see, your appointment is a political appointment.
No,
it's
I'm
not.
a public servant.
You are a public servant.
Yes.
So my question is that you are under an Akufo-Addo MPP government now.
Yes.
If you leave here and MPP government leaves, what guarantees do we have that if there's an NDC government...
I'm a public servant, so if I retire...
Do you not have any clause in there that says that, like the Constitution, you know, the directive principles of state policy, is mandatory for every government, regardless of which party, to continue?
Yes.
Do we have this as compulsory as a directive state principles of
which
state policy?
Which is this?
This document you have here, I want to know whether we can...
It's a document of the Republic.
So
it belongs to Parliament, it belongs to the people of Ghana. It belongs to Parliament. We are enjoined to do that by our own constitution. That is the role of NDPC. So it is by our own constitution and by our own acts. Whatever we produce is a statutory document, once endorsed by the President and Parliament.
This is Face to Face on City TV. My guest is the Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, Dr. Kodjo Mensah-Abrampa. We'll come back and ask him now. We have a few minutes to go, but we'll ask him, in the time he leaves this office, what should we see Ghana to be like? And what should Ghana at 100 look like? Stay with us.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. City TV, it's your world.
You're welcome back to Face to Face. We're discussing the plan to develop Ghana through the man whose job it is to ensure that this development happens. What does development or developing Ghana mean from your perspective? So that if by 2024, and I'm using this not because you may be thrown away, which is most likely that if there's a change of government, you go. But in 2024...
No, I'm a public servant.
Oh, it doesn't matter. We
it does.
We know how the politicians do these things.
I'm a public servant.
So you are saying that even if there's a change of government, you continue to be here?
Yes, I'm a public servant.
You'll be shocked. You'll be so shocked.
I'm a public servant.
What legacy do you plan to leave?
You see, I came to this place. I am a planner, a professional planner. I've been trained all through my life as a planner. And I've worked as a planner at the district level, lectured at the university, had the chance to work in international organizations all over. Worked here. NDPC, this is my third time, actually.
Okay, you've been going and coming.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And what I would say is that building systems for planning, very, very important. Because we had a way where the national plans very often were not talking to the district and the actions on the ground.
So it was remote.
Exactly. So what I am doing and what I want to see is that by the time I will be out of this office, I should see a situation where there's a strong linkage and coordination between the national plans, the sector plans, and the districts.
Okay.
So that we speak the same language. For instance, the president says that my agenda is to create jobs. Do we have the same agenda reflected at the district? Are they also focusing at creating jobs at the district? Because jobs cannot be created just in Accra or at the national level. It ought to be created at the local level. District, do they have it in the middle of their plans? They focus that they want to create jobs. If you want to create jobs, it's not just one borehole there, one public toilet there, one that. No. You must look at your district, the local resources. Where do we need to harness and create it so that people can have jobs? So that the young men and women over there can stay and not just move to Accra. So this is it. So agenda for jobs, as it is, must reflect in the district plans and be implemented. Okay. And my job is to see to it that this is monitored, and this is an indication is given to the president if something is going wrong. This linkage is very important.
Okay. So you want the linkage from the local and the national level.
Yes.
What about the linkage from the national and international or continental level?
Exactly.
We have the African agenda.
Agenda 2063 and all those. What we have done, what we did was that when preparing our medium-term plan, we dovetail all these indicators for the SDGs into it. At first, we used to prepare different reports, looking for different data at different times, but we've gone beyond that. Now we have a single document indicator set, which measures Ghana's own development as we are placed in our plan and pursuit. And then out of that, we can tease out what we also need to report to the SDGs, to report on the African agenda. This, for instance, is a report on Ghana's development. Okay. Out of that, we have been able to tease out what should go to United Nations on the SDG.
Okay, so this is the SD. So this are SDG so let me know. This 2030.
Yes.
So in 2030, one of the things that excites me is that open defecation should be over.
Exactly.
By 2025.
Right. Yes.
That's what the SDGs are saying.
Yes. That's our target.
Are we going to meet that target?
You see, between 2015 and now, we've been able to reduce it, take a chunk of 5% off. Okay? So at first, if any 5 Ghanaians were there, you could say that one of the person, is involved in open defecating. Now we brought it down to 3 now, and even going to 2, in fact, in some areas. So we're gradually moving on. And you realize that we set up a competition among the district. Open defecation district free. Okay, are giving colas and all those. And this is increasing. When we started, we had the first year about 18. Now it's gone all the way to about 60 of them passing. And this is going on. So we hope that 2025, even if we don't clear it off totally, we should have a single decade in measuring it.
By 2057, I don't know where you will be. I don't know where I'll be, but we're hoping that will be around.
Yes.
What is your plan with Ghana?
The plan,
give me a picture.
The picture, we have defined the picture ourselves. Ghanaians with stakeholders have defined that we want to be an upper middle income country.
What does that mean? An
upper middle income country, and we set for ourselves our target that our GDP per capita at that time should be $50,000 per capita. And our nominal GDP should be around $3.4 trillion. This is what we aspire to be. And in that way, we will have what we call easy access to social facility and effective social services provided in such a way that Ghana will become the financial hub for West Africa. This is what we are heading towards.
Are all the institutions responding to this plan of yours?
We are moving there because the response that we are giving to the AFTA, the response that the organized Association of Ghana Industries and the Chamber of Commerce and all those things have organized themselves and working towards the AFTA is an indication that we're taking, in fact, over the West Africa in terms of business and even financial activities. And this is happening.
So we will get there?
we should get there. I am very, very hopeful. And you see, even if we grow consistently, we've gone through growth rates from double digits, we've come to single digits and very good ones. We've gone through an average of 7% between 2017 to 2020. If we're able to maintain this, we've gone down the dip, but we hope that with the CARES program, we'll be able to come back. And if we're able to grow with an average of 5%, we should be able to hit this target. And 5% is not beyond Ghana. No.
We seem to be assured that the soldiers will not come back, but are we also assured that if another president comes, and I don't know when, maybe 2030 or 20 something, these plans you have will still be in place, they will still be rolled out properly, as in there will be no disruption?
You see, what we have created, and the Constitution gave us that leeway, but we never took advantage, is the coordinated program. So whatever political picture that you have, there's an avenue for a dialogue.
And it will work.
It will work.
Dr. Kodjo Esseim Mensah-Abrampa, Director General, National Development Planning Commission. Thank you for speaking to us on Face to Face.
Pleasure.
And my name is Umaru Sanda Amado. We'll be back to his office in 4 years, maybe in 20 years, to see
you can
how
come
far
every year.
We'll be doing a regular trip to the NDPC to see how far we have come. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. Thank you. Keep watching City TV. It's your world.